Listen, is Scarlett nice? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Is she a privileged diva who gets what she wants by any means necessary? Absolutely. Do we love her?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh my God, she's great. She's amazing. She's
great.
so good.
Oh, yeah.
No, we love her. She's amazing.
Your back.
Hello, welcome to Cinematix Problematix, where we celebrate your guilty pleasures. I am Erin Maxwell.
And I'm Krissie Rettig. And today we are talking about Victor Fleming's 1939 blockbuster classic, Gone with the Wind, based on the book by Margaret Mitchell, published in 1936. The film follows Scarlett O'Hara, a beautiful, determined, resourceful, narcissistic homewrecker who is seemingly living an idyllic life on a plantation called Terra with her family and a field full of joyfully singing slaves. The young, precocious Scarlett can have her pick of any beau, but she has her sights set on milquetoast Ashley Wilkes, who is betrothed to his cousin Melanie Hamilton, who falls just short of angel status due to her conspicuous lack of wings. Scarlett professes her love for Ashley, but is rebuffed. Enter dashing war profiteer Rhett Butler, who is instantly smitten by Scarlett. And young Scarlett, in a fit of desperation, promises to marry the wide-eyed Charles Hamilton, who dies immediately. So a not-so-grieving Scarlett goes to stay with the Hamiltons with Melanie, thinking that she can lure Ashley back upon his return. The main drama surrounds Scarlett's attempts to steal another woman's husband, play a romantic game of hard to get with Rhett Butler, all against the backdrop of the Civil War from the start of the war to Reconstruction. Scarlett marries her sister's love interest, Frank Kennedy, to save Terra after the war, who opens a store, solves their money woes, and then dies immediately. Then she finally marries Rhett Butler for money and convenience, and then tragedy after tragedy ensues, and Scarlett discovers too late that she never loved Ashley and that Rhett is the one. But frankly, my dear, he doesn't give a damn. This film stars Vivien Leigh, Clark Gable, Hattie MacDaniel, Olivia de Havilland, Butterfly McQueen, and Leslie Howard, and has an unforgiving runtime of 3 hours and 58 minutes. Erin, tell me about the first time you saw Gone with the Wind.
I feel like I've spent my life watching Gone with the Wind because of that fucking runtime.
It is so long. I forgot how long it is. Thank God that HBO Max kind of like skips over the intermission. So like you just kind of like get to the point, but it is a long ass movie.
I owned this on 3 VHS cassettes. And so for a while there, it was one of 4 of the only VHS cassettes that we owned. And I don't know how my dad got it because it was during that time when VHS cassettes were very, very, very expensive, much less this Gone with the Wind one. And we only owned this one, and we owned like Steel Magnolias, and we owned like 2 others. And so it was just, we owned only Southern video cassettes.
I mean, that makes sense. I remember that massive box set of like the VHS. It was like massive.
And so I watched it a lot. So I remember watching it on Channel 5 growing up. I remember just watching it on TNT and Turner Classic Movies growing up. I watched it all the time.
Wow.
And I loved it. I always loved it. If we had plans and we caught it on TV, we were not going out of the house. We just watched it all the time. It was just always present in our lives.
Wow. Okay, I did not know this about you. For some odd reason, I just thought you were watching Revenge of the Nerds on repeat, given like your extensive knowledge of all the sequels.
Oh, I've seen this movie probably hundreds and hundreds of times.
That's impressive given the runtime, but I don't remember if I rented it because I did go through like this period in high school where I was like, let me just watch all these old movies. And I watched Rebecca and I watched, Citizen Kane, and I watched like all the classics that they tell you to watch. But the most memorable time I remember watching it, which I think was the first time I saw the whole thing and paid full attention, was AMC at the Del Amo Mall. And this has got to be like late 90s. And they did like a special screening of it. I think it was like a special anniversary screening of it. And I watched it in the theater with the intermission and everything.
I bet you it was like the 65th anniversary.
Probably.
Or something.
Yeah, I think it was. And so I was like, ooh, Gone with the Wind is playing. I've always wanted to see it. And so I went to go see it and I was blown away. Like it is I knew going in that it was controversial for, its depiction of, slavery and, the antebellum South and the South in general and the Confederacy and all that fun stuff. So I went in kind of knowing that, but walked out just like, holy shit, I can't believe that they made this movie in 1939. It was like a technical achievement, if nothing else.
My addiction to this movie got worse in college when I had a really good friend named Claire. And she owned it on DVD, and then we would get really stoned together and just ditch classes and watch this movie and eat Taco Bell.
I didn't know I could love you more, but I do.
And like, if we were like getting up and getting dressed and going to the clubs, if this movie just happened to be on TV, those plans changed drastically.
Wow. How long did it take you to get ready? It's 4 hours long.
Oh no, if we were already ready and heading out, like if the keys were in hand and we're reaching for the doorknob and I heard, but Gone with the Wind is on, that would stop us dead in our tracks. Or if Pride and Prejudice was on, one of those two, then we can like not go out. That was a good reason not to go
mine
out.
were like Die Hard or Aliens or something. Like if either of those movies was on, I just had to finish the whole thing.
No, this was required viewing. It was just one of those two things.
You know
and
what?
both of those were really long because we're not talking like Keira Knightley Pride or Prejudice. We're talking the BBC 6-hour.
Wow, with commercials probably, right?
Yeah, Colin Firth emerging from a lake. Yes.
I love this. I love it. But what was like your first impression of it? Like you just, I mean, you obviously like were obsessed with it. Like, were you aware of the historical inaccuracies or how it's depicting?
When I was a small child, even as a small child, I knew it was wrong. Even as a small child, I knew, because you knew what slavery was. You knew that what the Civil War was. You had that basic knowledge of it, even as like a 5 or 6 year old. You knew because I lived in Los Angeles and I went to private school. I had somewhat of an education. And so you knew what was wrong. I also watched a lot of Bugs Bunny cartoons. And for whatever reason, Bugs Bunny cartoons, like the older ones, always depicted the Civil War.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Oh,
And
that's so weird.
so I had like a working knowledge of it for like a 5 or a 6 year old. And so I knew what it was. And I knew what was the good guys and the bad guys. And I knew that they were depicting the bad guys.
What animals played the slaves? Don't answer that.
No, they weren't. It was always Bugs Bunny was the Union side and Elmer Fudd was always the Confederacy.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and that was it. And it was never Yosemite Sam. It was always just Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd is totally giving Confederate vibes, so that totally tracks. Yeah.
For Bugs, it was always states' rights, I think, that they were fighting for.
That is not accurate, Erin.
No,
it was not about states' rights.
No, it wasn't. But I'm just saying, like, they're not going to like chart out like slavery issues for little kids in like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. But they always, for whatever reason, because those like older cartoons were always in the rotation. That's how I knew about it.
Right. I don't think I remember those cartoons, but I don't think I was like thinking about history necessarily. It's like I knew like about the Civil War in very vague terms, and I knew about slavery for sure, but not about like the intricacies of the Civil War.
No, and you didn't know about the horrors,
right?
And you didn't know about that, like that. I didn't learn about that until like high school or until like junior high school.
Right.
Then as I got older, you learned more about the movie and the filmmaking process, and then you learned to love the film for other reasons, and then you learned to hate the film for other reasons.
For sure. And I mean, do we want to get into
do we want to
get into the things that are a bit wrong with the film?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Kick it off.
I do want to just say one thing.
Sure.
We're going to tear this film apart.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And before we tear this film apart, I do want to say we do very much appreciate Vivien Leigh.
Oh, yes.
And her performance as Scarlett. Even when she slips into a British accent every now and then, we still appreciate it. She was handpicked by Margaret Mitchell. She was very much approved by Margaret Mitchell. She is on screen for 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 32 seconds. It is the longest Oscar-winning performance in the history of film.
Much deserved.
And she carries this film on her slim, petite shoulders.
She's electric in this film. Like, I cannot imagine anyone else doing this as well as she did it. Like, she was so perfect for this role. And she's just, you cannot take your eyes off her. Like, as horrible a person as Scarlett O'Hara is, she makes her so entertaining to watch. All of her selfishness, all of her impetuousness, everything. It's just like, it's so good. And it's just so much fun to watch. She's just a blast.
And everybody in the roles are impeccably cast.
Yes.
That said, let's tear this film apart.
Let's tear it apart. Kick us off.
Here are the sins. The very first issue that we have, that a lot of people have, and we have also with this, is the fact that it romanticizes the Confederacy and the antebellum South.
Indeed, it does.
Very much so. Listen, the very first seconds of this film, once you get past that very wordy and very lengthy warning that the film gives you, is that you see happy singing slaves in their silhouettes in the fields against a backdrop of Technicolor beauty.
It is a beautiful shot.
Literally the very first shot you see.
It's a beautiful shot. There's that. There are cute little kids, slave kids swinging on the bell in order to ring it to cue quitting time.
It just shows you a depiction of ideal, beautiful white plantation life and how they lived in harmony with their black slaves, which is 100% not what happened.
No, it is
not at all. No one was living in harmony. Nobody was happy. Maybe the white people were happy, but that is it. There was no singing happy slaves. There was no small children swinging on a bell. Nobody was happy in that household other than the white people.
Right. I mean, and the slaves that are there, throughout the film, we have, the main ones, we have Mammy, of Prissy, of Pork. Oh my God, don't even get me started on that name. You have Big Sam, and all of them are kind of present throughout the film, from before the war to the end of the war. And that is just, it gives the impression that they were part of the family, that they were totally accepted, that they were fully integrated into this family as kind of partners, and that they were loyal and happy where they were, which is kind of part of what they call, lost cause propaganda, which is basically something that was started by Southern whites in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. And the goal was to reframe the Confederacy and the cause of the South as noble, justified, and honorable. And some of the things that they did were, they said that the Civil War was about states' rights, something we just talked about. They said slavery wasn't that bad. Everybody was happy. Everybody was getting along. Enslaved people were happy and loyal. And that the South fought nobly, in the Confederacy, and that they were heroes, and that the Reconstruction was a failure because of Black incompetence. So what we see depicted here is that Gone with the Wind is one of the most enduring pieces of lost cause propaganda that we have because of its depiction of slavery and slaves. But we'll get into some specifics about some of the characters.
It sanitized all the absolute horror of slavery. And it did nothing to show any part of it in any kind of accurate sense.
No.
And why would it? Because it wasn't about that. It was about Scarlett O'Hara.
Right.
So it also takes that stance where it says, well, this isn't a story about slavery. This is a story about Scarlett O'Hara. So it tries to play innocent in a way where it says, well, no, this is a story about romance. This is a story about a woman overcoming great odds in order to survive. I'm like, but you set it in the South. Right. And you set it against the backdrop of the Civil War, and you set characters that are slaves. And then this is what you did with them, and you made them characters in this. And by doing that, you actively participated in this propaganda.
Yes, absolutely. Very well said. I mean, and one of the things that you have to note about Scarlett O'Hara, and if you're looking at her as a heroine, right? Even if she's an anti-hero of some sort, and she is, even if you find some of her qualities redeeming, which I do, and we'll discuss those, it is enabled by the fact that she lived in the South and had slaves, and she had people waiting on her hand and foot. She had people that she could command around. She had people that she could slap around and berate if she, was dissatisfied with them. So that is part of her legacy as well.
And then you have the individual performances themselves.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to take away from the performances themselves, because Hattie MacDaniel, Butterfly McQueen, these are great performances done by really strong actors and actresses who really gave it their all. And even Hattie MacDaniel had a lot to do with her performance, where she said, and she gave a famous quote where she said, I would rather play this role making $700 a week than being an actual maid and making $7 a week.
Right. And because I think that part of that was she got flack from the NAACP or something for the portrayal, and she clapped back with that.
Yeah.
And it's you can see both sides for sure. It's it's a complicated issue because it was a trailblazing role.
And Hattie MacDaniel, she won an Oscar for it.
Yeah.
And she opened a lot of doors because of it. Was she 100% happy with the role? No.
Right.
And neither was Butterfly McQueen, and neither was a lot of the actors that were in this movie. But it did do a really great thing as far as it opened doors for other Black actors as far as giving them more screen time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it did set that precedent where it allowed more Black actors to share the screen with more white actors, which at the time wasn't something you saw very often.
Right. I think that like even like when the movie came out, like there was supposed to be like this parade for the film and the Black actors were not allowed to be in it. And Clark Gable was going to boycott the parade actually, but Hattie MacDaniel like convinced him not to do it. So even back then it was like the cast was struggling with like how to deal like not only with the portrayals in the film but with the publicity for the film as well.
Oh yeah. They weren't going to let Hattie MacDaniel into the screening at all until you stood up for her.
Yeah. So okay, let's get into some of the stereotypes that we see with some of these characters.
Okay.
All right. Do you want me to kick it off?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Mammy. So, okay, Mammy. Once again, Hattie MacDaniel's amazing in this film, but Mammy is this stereotype that was created after the war of this kind of like large, very dark-skinned Black woman who was kind of like this asexualized figure to kind of paint over the fact that there was a lot of sexual assault of young Black female slaves in the South. So the Mammy character is meant to kind of erase that, to say like, how can somebody want to, sexualize this person? Like none of that happened. And so Mammy is this character. So first of all, the physical depiction of her is something that was like created a stereotype, but also her kind of like stomping around, ordering people around, and like she's feisty and she's always got the scowl on her face and she's telling people what to do. And they treat her as if like she has like some agency, like she has like some authority in this house. But in reality, that was not the case at all. Like typically people or women who were like house slaves or whatever, they were younger women who were in the house. They typically weren't older women, and like they were regularly sexually assaulted. And so the Mammy character is something that really didn't exist that much on actual plantations. And the fact that they made it seem like she was like a feisty aunt or something, like telling Scarlett what to do, was completely revisionist history.
And then they go as far as the caricature of her is recognized wherever Scarlett goes. Mm-hmm. So when she visits Rhett in jail, they're like, oh, well, this one brought her Mammy with her.
Right.
So they go as far as to recognize the caricature.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point. I think like this is kind of like where like the whole like Aunt Jemima stereotype and everything it was enduring. Like Aunt Jemima, we didn't get rid of Aunt Jemima for fucking ever. Like that woman was around until like the 90s or some shit. Like that was a good 60 years after this film came out. Do you understand how long it took to dismantle that and to make people say like, oh yeah, that's not good. That's not a good thing. So it was a very enduring stereotype. Like this propaganda was very, very powerful, invading our homes as syrup, and it just wasn't good. So I'm glad that it is no longer there. But that was Mammy for you. And I'm telling you, like this, you say Mammy and people immediately know what we're talking about. So shall we go on to Prissy?
Yeah.
So Prissy is almost worse for me. Like at least Mammy, even if it's fake, had like some amount of like nobility about her. She was smart. She had common sense. She saw what Scarlett was up to. She was no idiot. Whenever Scarlett was like trying to do something, like was
Mammy
up to no good.
Mammy was almost like a foil for Scarlett in many ways. So Mammy was there because Scarlett had everybody fooled except for Mammy.
Right.
So at least whatever they were doing with the stereotype, at least the character was sharp.
Yes. Yeah. She was
very
very
smart, and she was very intelligent, and she was there to foil whatever Scarlett was doing. She knew what Scarlett was up to, and she was there to try to stop her.
Yes.
Or if at least put an end to whatever terrible plan or to do her best to stop that. And when Scarlett was misbehaving, especially later, she was always sided with Rhett later on. Mm-hmm. She later, Mammy proved to be a really valuable character.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I wish that, somebody...
Prissy is not so much.
No, oh my God, no. Prissy is way worse.
Prissy
way worse.
is very much hinders whatever situation she happens to be in. And if Mammy is one end of the spectrum, then Prissy's on the other end of the spectrum.
Yes. Okay, so Prissy kind of like represents like the type of female like companion or maid that you would have inside of a house. Like she's young, you know, she was supposed to be the daughter of Pork and Dilsey, I think, in the book.
Right.
And the way that she is portrayed is just lazy and stupid and shrill and scared and like incompetent and just unwilling to do stuff. Like Scarlett will tell her like, go over here and do this. She's like, I'm scared to do that. It's like, oh my God, do you understand what would happen to you if somebody actually fucking said that inside of a house? It's like, I'm not going to do it because I'm scared. Like, I'm sorry. No, that did not happen.
In the book, she's supposed to be very lazy, and what's depicted as lazy on film comes off as feeble-minded.
It's both. It's all of it. And that's what's the worst part about it. And there is a section of the film. I mean, we see her in the beginning. It's like, ugh. And then the section of the film, like kind of towards near the middle, when Melanie goes into labor and they're trying to get out,
right,
to when they get to Tara and Scarlett's trying to figure out what to do at Tara and everything. And like, cause they've lost everything after the war. Like Tara's like, they've been robbed. They don't have anything. Mom died. The dad's gone crazy. Scarlett is like, fuck, I don't know what to do. I just need some help. And Prissy is no fucking help at all. So in that section, this film is so fucking hard to watch because this character is so embarrassing and just makes slaves look stupid and totally useless.
But even worse, she's a liar.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she's a liar. And it's just kind of like she puts Scarlett in danger. She puts Scarlett and Mellie in danger.
Especially Mellie.
Yeah.
Especially Mellie.
And so she creates a situation through her lies where they send the doctor away. And so she's all like, well, I know everything there is to know about birthing babies because I've helped countless times. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, well, great. You're our go-to then. Mm-hmm. Now it's her time to step up. And she's like, oh, I completely lied.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about birthing any babies. Or that infamous line, I don't know anything about birthing no babies. And it's just like, what the actual fuck, Prissy? It is so bad. I mean, and it's like, I feel okay saying that because this character is just, I don't think it existed that much. I don't think that this character would be allowed to exist, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, she lied. She's incompetent. She's constantly running away from things. And then that allows Scarlett, our heroine, to emerge as the hero, right? Because everybody around her doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. So it was like they almost had to debase this character in order to let Scarlett, this white Southern belle who's never lifted a finger doing shit in her life, to emerge a hero.
And then she takes that away from her by lying to Rhett and to all of the women of the night.
because like she's like, Scarlett helped me a little bit, but I actually like birthing
But I did most of the work. Yeah.
I can't.
So this movie has so many more sins. Like,
yeah,
we have to go on about the whitewashing of the racism.
Yes.
Oh God. And just the lack of historical accuracy that this movie takes us through.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So where do you want to go? Where do we want to go next?
All right. So we can mesh the two, I'm pretty sure. Okay. This movie vilifies the Union Army. Let's not forget who the good guys are. Okay, there's clear good guys here, and it's the Union Army. They won. Why? Because they're great.
because they wanted to free the slaves, and we like that. We like that about them.
Okay, listen, war is hell. We get that. And when people who participate more and when you're in there for a couple of years, you do terrible, horrible fucking shit. Understood. Mm-hmm. We get that. But they made the Union Army look like fucking dogs, just rabid, evil creatures that were going from house to house, raping all the Southern belles.
Yeah.
And then they made the Confederate Army look like these tragic fucking heroes of war that were just like, please, sir, please take pity on us. Mm-hmm. Take pity. No, that isn't what happened, okay? The Confederate Army were taking slaves. This is bad, okay? We've all established that slavery is bad. They didn't want to give that up. They were okay with that. They wanted to continue doing that. Mm-hmm. We sent in the Union Army to stop that. That's good.
For For anybody that was confused, that is a good thing.
If you're confused about that and you want to fight me on this, come at me. I got an alley behind my house and I will fucking meet you there.
Yeah, especially like the Union soldier that breaks into the house, right? Like when Scarlett's trying to get Tara back together. And he comes in, he's like all dirty and slovenly, starts just poking through like all their jewelry and shit. And he like, I think like she faints and he's like hovering over her, you know, or whatever. And she like shoots him with like
they just depicted it like all the Confederate soldiers were like fighting for honor. And they just kept throwing that and they were like barreling that towards the audience. Like, it's for honor. It's for honor. It's for honor. It's for honor. It wasn't for honor. Okay. It was for slavery.
Yes.
Okay. And the Unions were not trying to take away the Confederate honor. They were not trying to take away the South and take away tradition. They were trying to free a group of people that were under enslavement.
Right. And speaking of that, and I don't remember the book, I read the book in high school. The film barely touches upon the slaves are free now.
Yes.
They kind of forget to mention that part because if you didn't know history, you would not know because they just stick around. They just stick around.
Oh, yeah.
They just hang out at Tara.
They're hanging out.
Yeah,
they're cool.
Like, they're like, no, we're cool. We like Scarlett. We like getting slapped around by this bitch when she gets mad at us, you know? Like they're totally chill with it and they're totally devoted and they stay there despite the fact that they don't have to anymore. And in reality, the vast majority of slaves, once they were free, they left. They got out of there. And they went to go find their families that they were separated from. They went to go find other opportunities, you know. They didn't hang out, you know. And so like the fact that it totally, first of all, like vilifies like the Union and then makes no mention. Almost.
No, most of these slaves, a lot of slaves were separated from their families.
Yes.
So if you had the option to go and like find your wife or find your kids, you're fucking gonna leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. And one of the things that's kind of funny in the book, they're like, you know what? Scarlett's dad was like one of the good slave owners because it's like he bought them together. He bought like
he's a fucking prince.
I think he's like, I know. It's like thanks Gerald or whatever your name is. Thanks Pa. Yeah. So that's not good. I mean, it's taking a cue kind of like from Birth of a Nation did the exact same thing. You know, it was like another piece of that, probably a little bit more overt about it, but the same idea essentially. It's just like, you know, the Confederates are great. They're heroes. Isn't it sad that they lost? And then the Union is bad. Why can't we go back to the good old days?
There wasn't a good old days. It was good old days for like 1%.
Yeah, well, yeah, for the plantation owners, for
yes,
sure, who own slaves. Yes, absolutely.
It's just them. It was a time that's gone with the wind.
I like how you just wove that in there. That's
great.
There
you go. Yeah, that was
job.
Fun.
That's adorable. Do you have anything else on that?
Yes, we can talk a little bit, just a smidge, about the timeline of events, just because it is a little murky. It's a little bit of shoddy filmmaking, just a smidge. For those who can't tell and you don't know if you haven't read the book, if Scarlett is 16 when the movie starts and she is about 25, 26 when the movie ends, that is canon. That is definite and set in stone. So you can judge the movie's timeline from that. Do not judge it by the war or Melody's pregnancy, which her pregnancy lasts about 1.5 years.
Big baby,
yes. Her.
Well, she was very sickly, you know. So it takes the baby a little bit more time to grow. 18 months to be exact.
Yeah. The war is a little fudgy on the details as well. It seems to take about a little longer than it should. Mm-hmm. And the time between battles is also kind of a little fuzzy there. But it should be about 10 years from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie. So, okay. But they don't give you any specific dates, but they do give you battles. And if you judge it by the battle timeline, it all doesn't kind of work out a little bit.
I forgive it. I forgive it for that.
Yeah.
I suck at math anyways. It's fine.
The math doesn't math until it maths. So just
the pregnancy thing. I'm kind of just like, I don't even know the difference between a 5-year-old and a 12-year-old, so it's fine.
Okay, great. Then we're fine. She gives birth to a 5-year-old.
Basically, essentially, that's true.
Do we want to switch gears and talk about? Okay,
are we going to talk about sexual assault?
We're going to talk about sexual assault,
Yay!
One of our favorite topics, obviously, because it happens so often in film. But I think it's going to be interesting because, once again, this movie was made in 1939, and we see in this film
something that we are seeing in films that we've also talked about in the 80s as well.
Yes.
You know? So let's get into it. All right. So this was something that was not called out at the time that the movie came out, unlike, you know, its depiction of slavery and of Reconstruction and the South and the Civil War. This was, you know, Rhett Butler's like physical abuse. Most notably, there is a marital rape scene. There is a scene where he's just had it with Scarlett. She has been flirting with Ashley too much. She has like kind of embarrassed him. He's drunk. He's like just like completely obliterated drunk. Calls her into the dining room, sits her down, and then like is like giving this speech about like how he could squash her head with his hands, and he wraps his hands around her head like a vice, like he's going to pop it. And she's like, and it's terrifying. It's actually like a really scary scene. He's like very good in it. And he's like squeezing her head, and she's just like, get the fuck off me.
She blows him off.
Yeah, she's just like, you're an idiot. You're a fool. And then he's just like, oh yeah. And then he takes her and forcibly kisses her, and then like carries her upstairs as she's like kind of trying to fight him off. And that's the last we see.
He ravages her. That is what that is called at that time.
In the book, you mean? Is that what they said in the
just
book?
when
I don't remember that.
women would describe that scene at the time. That is what it was referred to. He would be ravaging her.
Right. And it was like a sign of masculinity, right?
Yes.
It was like
considered
people didn't
very romantic scene.
Because he's so mad. This Rhett Butler. I mean, who doesn't want Rhett Butler to like, you know,
ravage you?
Ravage you, I guess, against
it was ravaging you.
Right.
And then the next scene is that she's singing. She's brushing her hair and singing.
She is just like glowing.
All of her rape fantasies came true.
Rhett
that night.
Found the button.
Yeah, it was just, she is singing, she is glowing, she is smiling, she is brushing, and Rhett is ashamed of himself.
He's just like, yes,
he
sorry.
Is deeply, deeply ashamed, and he is making plans to leave.
He knows he lost control. He tries to kind of like say, yeah, sorry about that, I guess. But he's otherwise being cold to her.
Yeah.
And that kind of turns her off. She's just like, well, fuck you then.
And this is when they separate.
Yeah. So he's kind of like, I think that this is like the part where he says, I'm going to take Bonnie, their daughter.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to take her to London and you're not coming with us. Marital rape was not a thing back then.
That didn't exist. That wasn't a crime.
Nope.
It wasn't a thing that happened because that was your husband. You were expected to have sex with him, and two, you were expected to have sex with him whenever he wanted to have sex.
Right. And I mean, if you look at films during this time period and afterwards, there's a lot of women trying to fight men off. Then there's a lot of men just taking women and kissing them, and like, you know, like consent was not a word. Like it wasn't even a concept.
They made a Christmas song about it.
Oh yeah, I love that song.
It's creepy.
They're flirting. It's fine.
Sure. Yeah, okay, let's set that song to this scene and see how great it is.
Baby, it's cold outside. It was Georgia in the summer. I bet you it was really hot. Anyways, that is something that has been called out in kind of like modern criticism today. Everybody knows that was wrong, but there was nobody batted an eye back in 1939 when that happened. It was very commonplace. It was actually known as kind of like a sign of masculinity for a man to just kind of like take a woman, you know, and just take her upstairs,
some guy pick you up
while you're
carry you up the stairs,
and you're like, and your feeble little fist pounding his chest, and then like, you know, that shit happened all the time. And now it's a little bit disturbing because otherwise, you know what's fucked up? Here's what's fucked up. I love Rhett Butler. Otherwise, great character.
Yeah,
great character. And Clark Gable, it's like you kind of like him. He's kind of like a softer version of Scarlett, kind of like a more noble, honorable version of Scarlett. They're both very selfish and they're both very self-centered people, which is why he knows her so well. He understands this woman very well, and she hates it. She hates him that he can see right through her.
Yeah.
They are, you know,
two different
sides of the same freaking coin. And that's what's great about them. Like their chemistry is fucking incredible in this film. And he's a great character. So I hate this part of the film. Like, I don't like it. I mean, we can acknowledge it. Bad, not good, wouldn't happen today. They made the movie today. I don't even know how they'd handle it, to be honest with you, but it happened, and it's probably one of the dark marks on this film.
I agree.
All right.
I mean, it's kind of nice that he felt a little remorseful, but it's neither here nor there.
It really isn't. Like you're feeling bad after a rape is not. It's like a little bit too little, too late. Okay, so next question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Scarlett, is she a feminist? Let's talk about her. She's a problematic character. This woman is not a good person. She's not nice.
Listen, is Scarlett nice? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Is she a privileged diva who gets what she wants by any means necessary? Absolutely.
Yes.
Do we love her?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh my God, she's great. She's amazing. She's
great.
so good.
Oh
yeah. No, we love her. She's amazing. Like this movie it's her movie. It is her fucking movie. Like it is all her.
She got a woman that just gave birth and fucking prissy through a war by beating a horse to death.
Yes. And you know what?
Through 150 miles of rough road.
Yes. She made a banging dress out of curtains.
Jesus. It
looked amazing. It was velvet and gold. She looked phenomenal in it.
She did what she had to do to save that house.
She did, including stealing her sister's
whatever.
bow.
Sue Ellen didn't know what she was going to do.
Sue Ellen he would have hated being married to Sue Ellen. She was just constantly whining and crying and screaming. She was pretty useless too.
She turned that lumber business into a thriving business.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And you know what? And she would do business with the Yankees because you know what? She was like, I'm going for the long game.
Yes.
Right now. She was just like, this is business. They're going to give me money. I'm going to make friends with them. I'm going to take their fucking money. It's going to be great. And you know what? She was a shrewd businesswoman. You got to give her credit.
You saw that. They planted the seeds of that at that barbecue, which the way she was working that room, she had
my
all
God.
those admirers.
Oh yeah. She's street smart like nobody's business. And even when she was running the lumber business and she was hiring all those inmates. It's like, no, dude, this is cheaper. And Ashley was like, I just wish we'd hire some donkeys. And she's like, nah, dude. she's like, free black people are going to be too expensive. We're going to do the inmate thing. It was just like, all right, I can get down with that. Good for you.
Yeah. No, she's great. I mean, listen, in the book, she's a little worse because she has a bunch of kids she doesn't pay attention to. And so you're just kind of I don't know if I like this woman.
She's not a mom. She's not a maternal figure.
Society pushed her to have the kids. That's not her fault.
That's what all women had to do. I mean, you can also look at her and say, okay, she didn't get married for love or anything, but what women got married for love back then? You had to get married for security. Jesus,
no.
It's she couldn't do anything. She was even getting shit when she started that friggin' business with Frank. She was even getting shit for even being a part of the business.
No.
That was unacceptable to them. And so women back then didn't have options unless you wanted a whole bunch of people talking shit behind your back.
She is so smart. She can make a business thrive. She was pretty. She can have a dress. She is savvy.
Did I mention she drives her own buggy? I mean, come on.
Did she drive her own buggy?
She drives her own buggy. And she was
out she was working the fields.
She was working the fields. I mean, you know what? She had slaves doing that before, so fuck that. Yeah, she deserves to work the fields. So fine. But I guess it was a leap for her. I guess.
You have to know about irrigation and when to plant and when that stuff you've got to know.
I will say that I do admire the fact that she got her sisters out there to help. It was just get out there. So it's I'm not doing this shit all by myself. Get out here.
Yeah.
And it's she was determined.
Sue Ellen and that other one whose name we never learned, or
Carrie Lee or something like that. Yeah. I know. I have it here somewhere. It was, but the unnamed daughter, the forgotten daughter,
the forgotten one,
and it sucks because she seemed pretty chill.
Right.
She was the nice one out of both. She was the one that came out normal, but she's totally boring. So we're not going to talk about her very much.
The 13-year-old that we only see her mention of her
She
name.
has 5 lines.
Yeah.
She's not very important. But I think that Scarlett is a terrible person in many ways. She's incredibly selfish. She's a narcissist. She's always thinking about herself. She's manipulative.
Yeah.
She toys with Rhett all the time. She uses her feminine wiles to get men to do what she wants. But I mean, at the same time, once again, it's what did women have to work with back then? She was a fucking survivor and she knew what she wanted. She went for it. She knew how to get it.
There's only 2 perfect people in this film. And we've just got it's Melanie.
Yeah.
And it's Belle.
We love Belle.
And that's it. And those are the 2 perfect people.
Yeah. No, I mean, Melanie, if there was any flaw for Melanie is that she's either she's pretending not to notice, which is possible, that Scarlett is going after Ashley aggressively, or she's just such a kind-hearted angel that she doesn't want to see the worst in her. I think that Rhett Butler says that to like at one point he's just like, she's like such a good person, she can't even bear to see people she loves in a bad light.
I'm telling you, it's option C. It's the inbreeding. It's that Wilkes family inbreeding.
They were cousins. I think they were first cousins.
They said at the beginning, Wilkes family like to marry their cousins.
They're like Targaryens or some shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
like
whatever.
she's just like, it's not willfully ignoring it. Maybe she just like is blind in one eye. One eye doesn't work or something.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't put it.
Maybe that's why she talks like this.
Well, she had some kind of like mysterious illness or something that they never tell us what it is. It's like the consumption or some shit.
What the Habsburgs die of?
I don't know, but whatever it was, it like she had it for a while, and then she like it was like wasting disease or whatever that was back then. So, but yeah, I mean, but we like Mellie because she did stick up for Scarlett. In the end, they do have a beautiful, beautiful scene together when Mellie is dying and Scarlett is at her bedside, and Scarlett, they just lost their daughter too. Rhett and Scarlett had just lost their daughter, so it's like double whammy. The end of this movie is brutal. It's like, it's just really tough to take. Like nothing good happens. But she's at her bedside and they have like this sisterly moment, like where Scarlett's like, I'll do, what do you need me to do? I'll do whatever you need. She's like, take care of Ashley. She's like, okay. And then she's like, take care of Beau. And then she says, be kind to Rhett, you know? And she was like, okay, I'll do it. And then that's like when Scarlett realizes, she's like, oh wait, I don't think I ever liked that Ashley dude. You know, it's like so random. Like it took years of friendship with this woman and watching her die for Scarlett to finally be like, you know what? I don't even think I like your husband anymore. It's wild. She's terrible. She's like so awful in so many ways and so emotionally bankrupt that, I mean, it's like so too little too late at that point. But yeah, but Mellie brought that out in her, right? I think it was like Mellie's commitment to her for years
but
that brought that out.
That's what makes this movie good, because if she got everything that she wanted, it would be undeserved. That's what's kind of great about this movie, is that I like that. It's kind of got a noir ending. You're just like, fuck you.
It's glorious too.
Yeah, it's great.
He like disappears like into the mist. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, you do not deserve this man. You do not deserve a happy ending. You've got your wealth. You've got everything you wanted. You wanted to be wealthy. You're wealthy. That is everything you deserve. You got it. You don't deserve anything else.
No, I mean, she didn't even like being a mother. I mean, and I'm not saying that it's like a good thing that Bonnie died, but she just was not a good mother.
No,
she, like Rhett was pulling all the weight in the parenting department in that relationship, you know, and so now she has nothing. Now she doesn't have Rhett. She doesn't have Bonnie. She doesn't have Mellie. Like, what does she have? She has Tara, I guess, and tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
You know, and there goes that resilience that I love about her. She lost everything. She's going to go have some brandy. She's going to feel all her feelings today, and then tomorrow she's going to attack, and she's just going to figure it out.
She has her money and she has Tara. She has exactly what she wanted and nothing more.
Yeah. I mean, she'll survive. And I think that that's the thing. It's like, it seems like an abrupt ending, but at the end of the day, you've seen this woman go through so much. You're like, she's going to be fine.
No.
She's going to land on her feet.
Literally, she got exactly what she wanted from the beginning of the film. She got Tara, she got money, and she got Ashley.
Yeah.
And then she realized that isn't what she wanted.
Right. I mean, because she doesn't even want it. I mean, Ashley's the only one that's still alive. She's like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, she's just like, no, I don't want any of that. I want this. Like you don't get to have that because you suck.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So amazing character. One of my favorite female characters.
It's just
in
such
film
a layered
history.
performance.
It is
it's so fantastic.
It is
so well done. So, in case you can't tell, we cherish this film.
The hell out of it.
We cherish this movie.
We usually do like a chuck or cherish, but it's just like, oh my God, I love this movie so freaking much. But I mean, it's racist as hell. It's terrible. And but Margaret Mitchell, they were being faithful to Margaret Mitchell's book. That doesn't excuse it. But I mean, that's kind of like the story that she kind of shaped. It is fantasy. This is a fantasy film. Like, this is not historically accurate by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
This is a version of history that does not exist.
And to her credit, she later on and spoke out against the book to a degree, where she was like, I'm really sorry that people pulled these things out of this book. That isn't really what I meant to do with the book. And she never like outwardly like disown the book or anything.
Right.
But because it still brought in money, but
yeah. But I mean, it's like this movie, like, I mean, okay, so we've talked about the performances. The performances are just all top notch, like all amazing, all great. I still don't understand why Scarlett likes Ashley Wilkes. He's just like the most boring motherfucker I've ever seen. But this film is a technological achievement. It's kind of like when you look at something like Birth of a Nation, which is even more troubling. You can still kind of look at it and say, like, the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
And I can say this much more comfortably with Gone with the Wind than I can say it with Birth of a Nation. But the craftsmanship, the technicolor, the cinematography, the score. I think this was like the longest score that Max Steiner ever wrote. The screenplay was originally 6 hours long. They cut it down to 4.
Every cell was hand painted.
Jeez.
Every costume was hand sewn. There was 2,800 extras.
And they
with
built
talking rolls.
And they built Tara, I think, on set. I think they built it on like the Selznick lot, I think.
Yeah, the burning of the depot in the Atlanta scene, that was the King Kong set.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I heard that Fleming was like setting off the bombs himself. Like, I just see him like with one of those giant like plunger type things, just setting off bombs as the scene is being filmed.
Like, the scope of this project, the artistry that went into it, the time that went into it, the manpower that went into it, it is a feat. It is. And it needs to be appreciated.
Absolutely. I mean, it is a stunning movie, even if you just shut off the sound, which at times I definitely want to. Like, if you just shut off the sound, especially when Prissy's on screen, if you just shut it off and you just look at it, aesthetically, it is a stunning film. It's one of the most beautiful films you will ever see. The costumes are top notch, makeup, everything, like the lighting, the cinematography. It's just hitting on all cylinders in every department. And it still holds up. I mean, a lot of like the visual effects, like because they're practical effects, they actually look quite good still, like considering the time period. But you're never going to get me to not like this movie and not appreciate it. I know it did some fucked up shit. but if you recognize the time that it was made, if you think about the things that we've all called out, everybody recognizes that stuff. If you pull yourself out of it and look at it as a story primarily about this woman and this man, then it's a pretty astounding piece of work.
I just think if you walk in with your eyes open and you understand all of the aspects of the film, you understand why people don't like it, you understand all of the arguments against it, and you go in with your eyes open and then you watch it knowing everything that there is to know about it, then you can form a really clear opinion of it yourself. And that's all that you can do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do. And
that's all you can do.
And look, there are people who look at the depiction of slavery in this film and are going to hate it. And that is totally valid.
Uh-huh.
That is totally valid. And it's like, I get it. I think that this particular film, when you consider kind of like when it was made and how it was made and how ambitious it was and like all the performances and how groundbreaking it was, say what you will about, Hattie MacDaniel's character, but, Black woman winning an Oscar is a big deal, and that was something that, you weren't seeing ever. You weren't even seeing roles like this ever.
Giving Black performers the same amount of screen time or more screen time than white performers was a big deal, especially at that time.
Yeah. And I mean, progress happens very slowly. And Cher was groundbreaking. It was more groundbreaking to allow us to continue to have mammy roles, maybe, but it broke down some barriers that allowed more Black actors to be seen. Once again, like the stereotypes endured, but I think that it did open some doors. Once again, just look at her performance. It's incredible. All of them are great. Even Butterfly McQueen, a character that is just really hard to take. She did a phenomenal job. And I think that you were talking about how like she hated playing the role, right?
She despised it. Absolutely despised it.
Yeah. But I think like one of the things I love about this film is like it shows you how grand movies can be, and it shows you how the scale of like a story can totally envelop you and suck you in. It was just like they were trying something that hadn't been really accomplished before on this scale, and they fucking pulled it off like gangbusters. And it is just such an entertaining film. It is still totally engaging. I cannot take my eyes off the leads ever. I think that the chemistry between Clark Gable and Vivien Leigh is unfucking matched. I think I just love watching them together. And I will continue to watch this film, and I'll continue to love it, and I'll continue to have problems with it. But on the whole, I'm totally standing for this movie.
I just want to throw in before we sign off that if you would like to watch this movie and have a better reason to watch it or have a reason to like it, there is a book. It's called Rhett Butler's People. I highly recommend reading it. It retells the entire story from Rhett Butler's point of view. It actually does a great job of retelling the story in a more sympathetic light, and recasts Rhett Butler and gives voice to not just Rhett, but to Mellie and to a lot of the other characters who previously didn't have voices. And it is actually a phenomenal book. I highly suggest checking it out. Also, the Scarlett, the miniseries with Timothy
I knew
Dalton.
you were going to mention Sky. You cannot come on to our podcast without mentioning the sequels to these things.
Is it good? No. Is it entertaining? Yes.
It starred
You can find it on YouTube.
Joanne Wally Kilmer as Scarlett. And I remember watching it, and I remember not liking it. Because I think I watched it after. You're so pleased with yourself right now.
Ireland.
She's so pleased with herself.
Another kid.
She's dancing in her chair right now. She loves how she just snuck that thing in. Whatever. Yeah, it's terrible. It's not good. It's not good. Just stick with the original.
Everybody has a shitty accent.
Just stick with the original. You don't need to watch Scarlett.
No.
Just like you
Rhett
don't have to
Butler's
watch
People is actually a fantastic book. You don't have to watch the
Rhett
sequel.
Butler's People, sure. Scarlett, you don't have to. You do not. You also don't have to watch Revenge of the Nerds 4 the way that Erin did. As a matter of fact, I would advise against it.
Oh, I would advise against it too. Yeah, no, it's terrible.
All right. Okay, well, thank you all for listening to us talk about our love and hate for Gone with the Wind. This is us signing off. Until next time.